and I had the feeling, oh my god, I have an address, but I'm feeling pretty homeless.
People who have never moved anywhere, who have never experienced that, they cannot relate to it.
Guys, I can't have you over because I'm living in a fucking hostel. I had the feeling something was missing. I felt miserable. I felt sad. As long as I have my backpack, I can find home everywhere in this world.
So my first guest is a girl who I met at surf camp this summer. She's a traveler from Germany and has been traveling the world with just one backpack for the past 6 months, exploring different countries and cities, meeting different people along the way, and getting to know different culture. Hello, Mo. How are you? Please tell us a little more about yourself. How old are you?
Hi, Polly. Nice that you have me here. And yeah, I'm Mo. That's my nickname. I'm 25 years old. I moved to Australia 6 months ago, and yeah, maybe that's everything about me.
Okay, so I guess let's just start with a question that I asked myself and actually gave a birth to this podcast. What is home to you? What is the meaning of home to you?
Maybe it's different, but for me it's definitely more a person than a direct place. Because like, for example, last year I lived in Germany in my studio apartment just by myself, and I actually really liked my flat, but I never really felt home there. And especially my grandma died last year, and after she died I was standing in her flat, and I was standing there, was looking around, and I had the feeling, oh my god, I have an address, but I'm feeling pretty homeless. And this really scared me. And then I realized that my home was never really a town or a city or a house, whatever. It was more that my grandma was my home, and when I lost her, I realized that I have to give myself this feeling of home. So what I've done was I packed my backpack, I booked my flight, everything was really spontaneous. I subletted my room in Germany, and then I moved to Australia, and actually I had no idea where to go. I mean, I knew my flight was to Melbourne, but I didn't know if I will end up in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, or where exactly. I didn't know it, but I thought if I can give myself the feeling, it doesn't really matter where I end up. It doesn't really matter if I end in a city, in a little town or wherever. It doesn't matter. With my backpack on my back, I can go everywhere and I will meet people, and they can definitely giving me the feeling of home. And as long as I'm confident enough, I will never really be alone. And I have the feeling I'm more at home than I've ever been in my whole life. I grew up in a little town in Germany, and I didn't really like this town, to be honest. And then I moved to a city, but I just moved there because the uni was there and it was close to home. So it was not really that I had a big choice about where I should go. And this time I live in Sydney because I want to live in Sydney. I have the feeling it's the first time in my life that I choose a place as my home, that I choose a location for myself, because I feel here extremely being at home. And I think I met my happiest version. I met the happiest version of myself. I met this version here in Australia, and especially in Sydney. As long as I have my backpack, I can find home everywhere in this world with good people.
Wow, that was just a beautiful start, girl. Thank you so much. I did really love the phrase that you said, that you met here a best version of yourself in Australia. This is really cute, and this is exactly what I feel. Because when I came to Australia, we have kind of similar experience, but at the same time it's very different. Because we have different backgrounds, or we have different age anyway. And the first time when I came to Australia, I was 18 years old. I was just a baby. Yeah, I was just a baby. Like, even though now I'm 20, it was just 2 years ago, but I was a baby. And I just left my parents. I left their home. I left my home country. I just graduated from high school. And I remember my feelings at that time. Australia has always been my dream. I always dreamed to move to Australia because my parents, they told me my entire life that Australia is just such a beautiful country. And of course, I always wanted to visit this place and once live here. So, and when I actually came here, I was just so excited to be here. But after some time has passed, I asked myself, hold on a second, but where is my home? I'm not sure that I feel at home here, because still I'm a student here and I don't have my family here, and I don't have like my apartment here or my house here. Nothing, like literally nothing. And last time when I got back home to Russia, I've been living in Australia for 1.5 years, and then I decided to just pack all my things and get back on holidays to Russia. And the thoughts in your head, it's like you're going home, you're gonna meet your family, you're gonna meet your friends, but at the same time you kind of feel that you're leaving your home here as well. So it's kind of you different life. You know, you're like
I know what you mean.
You're like Hannah Montana, that has life both there and here, but at the same time you don't have home neither there or here. And I remember when I just landed in Russia, in my hometown Vladivostok, and I saw the airport, I saw all the familiar places, but the moment when I realized I'm actually at home, I'm actually in my hometown, is just the moment when I hugged my father.
Aww.
When I was in his car, when I was with him, and then when I met my mother, this is the moment when I realized, oh my god, yes, I'm at home. I'm again like a little girl who finally met. Oh my god, my legs are shaking, girl. The moment when I realized I'm at home is just the moment when I hugged them and actually met them. And I think you're right that home, it might be a place, but I feel like it's more people.
Yeah.
It's
definitely.
more, it's how you feel around people. I was there for 3 weeks, and I cannot say that I felt at home there. I already felt that like I don't have my life there. I don't have school, I don't have university, I don't have work. My friends, they have their own things, they have their own life.
Yeah.
So they already know how to live without me.
But all the things you build by your own, they're kind of in Sydney.
Yes.
Like uni, like your first own flat, your new friends and everything is here in Sydney.
This is a very good point, because this is actually what I realized when I was there. 3 weeks, it's not that much time, right?
Yeah.
But first week, it was an exciting week because I was with my family, I was with my friends, we hanging out, we spent some time together. But then later on, I realized that I have nothing to do. Like, again, I have no university, I have no work, I have no studies, nothing. And
do you know how it sounds for me when you're talking about this? It sounds like the home you have in Russia is the home someone else, for example, your parents and your friends, they built this home for you. But the life you have in Sydney is more the home you built for yourself.
Yeah, this is exactly how it is. That life, it was like the life of little young Paulina, the one who was born there and who grew up there, who has been living with her family for like 18 years. And it was my home when I was young, when I lived there. But at the same time, this is a very special place to my heart, because I was born and raised there. I grew up there. This is a very special place to me. But this is the place which I cannot call home.
Yeah.
When I was there, and it was like last couple of days before my flight to Australia, back to Australia, I was already excited to go back to Australia, to Sydney, to my life there.
Yeah.
I already missed my friends. I already missed my university and like everything that I built up here.
Yeah.
Because I realized that now my life is actually here.
And this is the home kind of you chose. Because like the life in Russia, it's like you lived there for many years, but it was never really a choice because that you were born there. It was your parents' choice. That your home looked like. It looked like was like your parents' choice. And even if they did a great work, I'm pretty sure about this here in Sydney, this is everything what you built for yourself. Like you chose where you live in Sydney, you choose how you live in Sydney, you chose what you want to study, you chose your friends completely by your own. And this here is more like a home by choice, not by chance. You know what I mean?
That's a good phrase. How do you think your life has changed, like compared Germany and Australia, and what things are missing here in your new life?
What have changed? I think actually, I mean, my life is completely different, but I would say the biggest change is probably how I changed in this phase. I kind of left home because I didn't feel home there anymore. Like, my uni was over, my grandma died, and my mom actually, she moved to Spain. So it was not that I felt lonely there, but I had the feeling the reasons why I stayed in a place, these reasons, they were not there anymore. So I think I changed because now I feel more home than I ever felt before. But this time I have a backpack with like, I don't know, 10 clothes or something, so I have nearly nothing here because I have to carry everything on my back. So it's not that I can define myself with clothes or that I can define myself here with a good, impressive job or something, because here I'm a backpacker, I'm no one. So I have to find the confidence completely in myself. And actually, this was like, for me, a big step that I realized I'm not just this law girl who's like studying all day and who always looks pretty and has a pretty flat. No, sometimes I have to say, guys, I can't have you over because I'm living in a fucking hostel. So, and I think I learned that I'm enough for myself, that I don't need like things in my life. They give me confidence. It's more about that I find confidence in myself and that I'm enough for myself. And this gives me like a laid back attitude that I can trust myself. Everything will go right. I don't know how the future will look like, but I know it will be a good future. Even things maybe go wrong. You can always have like situations in your life and you feel uncomfortable or homeless. But when you can trust yourself and trust that everything will be good at the end, this is a confidence that boosts you. And so a good thing, a good lesson I've learned, that I should never ever force myself through things. And I don't just mean like relationships, I mean like friendships, I mean career steps or something. Listen to your heart and listen to it where you feel comfortable with. Because if you're not listening to it and you force yourself to all these things, there will come this point when you have the feeling, oh my god, this is too much for me. And everything around me, I'm not feeling well with that. It's your own task. It's no one else's task. It's just your own task to give you the feeling home. And it doesn't matter if it's like a place. If you think it's a place, then it's your task to move there and build your home there. If it's a person, it's your task to make it work with this person, you know? It's your thing. And this is also something I realized, that I shouldn't wait for other people to give me a home.
Yes.
I should give myself this home. And I think in meanwhile, I learned this pretty good, and I'm proud of myself that I did this.
Well,
Yeah.
girl, I didn't even realize that it's gonna go that deep. Thank you so much. And I also like that you mentioned something about confidence, that you
Yeah.
gain some confidence being like overseas and being just on your own. And I think one more thing that we have to mention is that once you move from your town, from your home country, you spend a lot of time with yourself.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of your time with your own company.
Yeah.
You're alone. You're basically
Yeah.
alone here. And this is, I think, one of the main things that I learned how to do.
Yeah.
How to enjoy my own company. Because when I just moved to Australia, I did not anyone here. I have never been to Australia before.
Yeah.
So obviously I did not like a single person here. And at the beginning, I think the first 3 months, I was just like by myself. I was
Yeah.
just alone.
Yeah.
And you have all these thoughts in your mind, like, whereas back in Russia, like in my hometown, I was always surrounded by people, like
Yeah.
by my family, my sister, by my friends. I was always with like someone and barely spent time alone. But when I actually moved, I had a lot of time just with myself, with my own company, with my own thoughts. And this is the moment when I think, when you just understand yourself.
Yeah.
When you just get to know yourself, because honestly, we barely know ourselves. You just basically learn how to spend like all the time with yourself.
Yeah.
And this is the most important thing that I realized 100%. You do not rely on anyone. And I also love the thing that you mentioned, that you don't have to think that anyone has come to your life and change it. You're the only one who can do it. You're the
Yeah.
only one who can change your life.
You're the creator of your life.
Yeah, you're the author, the director, the creator of your own life. And once you moved from your hometown, from your home country, everything changes. Just like everything. You're a whole new person, 100%. And I
Yeah.
feel like this is one of the things that people who have never moved anywhere, who have never
Yeah.
experienced that, they cannot relate to it.
Yeah.
So,
It's also something like there's always a difference when you say you were by yourself most of the time in the first 3 months. I think there's also a difference being alone, like I'm the only one here in this room, or being lonely.
yes.
And especially at the beginning, when you're by yourself, you have to figure it out. Am I a person who's feeling lonely, or am I just the only one in the room? Actually, sometimes I was sitting there and I was like, I don't know if I'm alone currently or lonely. I have no idea. And in mirror, I realized at the beginning sometimes I was lonely. It was not just being alone. I was lonely because I had the feeling when I met good people in a hostel and then we had to say goodbye. I had the feeling something was missing. I felt miserable. I felt sad. And I was like, why are you feeling sad? You should be sad about that these people left. You should be happy that you had the chance to meet them.
Wow,
Yeah.
girl, yeah.
And this is something like I realized that we just have a limited time here in this world. And at the end of our life, it's just a story, because when we go from this world, even if I'm important for myself, I'm a nobody for this world. So the only thing I have to do is to write my story for myself, that I can stay there at the end and say, oh my god, I had a nice life with nice people and I really enjoyed it and I experienced all the things I wanted to experience. This is something when I realized this, and when I was sad about that people left me on travels or something, I realized, okay, this was maybe the only time you saw this person, but don't be sad about that this person left. Be happy about that this person was there, because it's a part of your story, and the only thing that can give you a feeling of home at the end of your life is the story you wrote by yourself. And of course other people, they're actors in it and they make these stories so colorful, but you are the person who decides which direction this story has at the end. And when you're sitting at home and you're doing always like uni or going to work, whatever, having this like normal life, it's nothing bad about, don't get me wrong, it's nothing bad, but it's like, go the fuck out of your comfort zone and get to know this world, get to know nice people. Don't complain about that everything is so shit in your life. Go out and experience the world, and you will find a happy version of yourself. You are the one who has to make this step to say, okay, I find home. I find home. This is your responsibility at the end of the day.
I think I just now realized one thing. This insight just popped up in my head that honestly, you cannot find home. Okay, obviously when you're born, you know where is your home, because like this is where your family, this is where like your parents' house, apartment, wherever. But when you're already grown up, you cannot find your home unless you find it within yourself.
Yeah.
This is a very like important point and like way of thinking. Again, when I just first moved to Australia, I was alone and I felt lonely. But once I it's okay. But once I started spending a lot of time just with myself, with my own thought, with my own company, and like reflecting on my life, okay, I'm alone. Okay, I have no one by my side, right? Because everyone like back in Russia. And like physically, I'm here alone. And started like accepting all these things, and I started creating this life, the one, the life that I want, the life that I've always dreamed about.
A life that can give you the feeling of home.
Yes, exactly. And I think one thing that also helped me to feel that I'm home, or like experience the feeling of home in a new country, in a completely new country with like new culture, with a special new language, right? Is to first like talk to myself nicely and like again appreciate everything I have, and secondly is to create the feeling of home in my apartment.
Yeah.
What I mean by this is, so the way I decorated my room, the way I put myself into it, I bought some candles, I bought some different garlands, lights, and everything. When I enter my room and I look around and I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
this is very me.
Yeah.
This is exactly reflects me and my personality. And every time when I come home, I light candles, turn on the lights and everything, right? And I actually feel this home, feeling of home. I have it.
It's also what I thought it's home. It doesn't matter if it's a person or a place. It should give you the feeling of safety and the ability to be vulnerable.
So Mom, you'll be going back to Germany soon, and what emotion do you feel about it? So after not being there for 6 months and like traveling around Australia.
I mean, I go back in October, so I still have a bit time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 5 months. How I feel about I have to do this because I started my PhD last year. I'm excited to see my family and friends, to see my horse, and I think it will be good to be back, but I'm nearly 100% sure that I will feel definitely strange there, that I don't have the feeling of home there. So it's more, actually, how I feel is like, I want to go back to Germany, finishing my PhD, and then starting a master as well here in Australia, because it's really common for law students also to do the master in English law. And actually, it was never really my plan to do it. But since I felt so deeply in love with Australia, I can really imagine to live here permanently. So I have more the feeling that I currently live in Australia, and I will go for an exchange year or for 2 years to finish my PhD and then coming back. It's not that I really have the feeling I go home and I will stay there. It's more that I have the feeling, okay, I have to finish this, so I will go there, but I will come back. So it's more like...
Yeah, that is just so crazy, the way your way of thinking has changed about like Germany and your hometown.
Yeah.
That you now really feel that you're more here than there.
And it's actually like my hometown, like where I was born. Hate is a big word, but I don't like this place. It's not a cool town. It's really small. The people there are really conservative, and it's like so many things I don't like, and then I always thought I have to stay there in this place. But no, why? I can choose everything in my life. Why should I choose a place with people I don't like, with a nature which is not really incredible, with bad restaurants? Why should I choose this place? So I definitely 100% I won't move back to my town. Never ever again. I will go back to the city I studied. And this place, I like this place. It's a good uni city. I had a lot of fun nights there. But it's not that I want to live there permanently. And I think it's a good place to finishing my PhD. And I'm excited to finishing it. But I know that when my PhD is over there, I will leave this place. And before I came to Australia, I thought, oh, probably I will move to Berlin or to Potsdam or a place like this. But now I'm thinking actually about going maybe back to Australia, doing this master, because it's also, I'm currently here living my best life. I mean, I'm working, but it's the first time living abroad, like for a proper time. And of course my life is nice here. I met great people. I see the beach. I see sunsets. My life is great here. It's easy to say now, I'm not gonna go back. I stay here. This is really easy to say, but I think if I go back to Germany, finishing my PhD, and I still say I miss Sydney, I miss Australia, I want to go back, I felt more home there than here, then I have the feeling it's a step I'm really convinced about, because it's easy to be here in a good place and say, oh, I stay here because my life here is good. I think it's so much more worth it when I say, okay, I go back in my original home, and if I'm feeling more home there, I stay there. But if not, I can come back, and it's like, I think it's a better decision for me. Yeah.
You're a creator, director of your own life, right?
Yeah.
I think once you start traveling, your way of thinking and the way you see the world around yourself
Yeah.
change drastically.
Yeah.
When you live just in one town in a small city, you don't really see the world. You don't really meet other people along the way, different cultures. And
Yeah.
once you start doing this, once you start traveling, once you especially moving out from your hometown, from the place where you
Yeah.
were born, to a completely different country, you start seeing the world, and you start meeting different people with
Yeah,
different cultures,
exactly.
and way of thinking changes drastically.
Yeah.
So this is 100% what changed me,
Mm-hmm.
because when I went back home and I met with my classmates, with like friends from my previous lives, we're not friends anymore, but
Yeah.
we used to be. And I started like chatting with them. I'm not saying that they are, I don't know, like bad people or something like that.
Yeah.
They just live in their comfort zone. They just live
Yeah.
in one hometown, and the way they think is just very different from the way I think now. And it's not because I'm like that smart or something like that, that I'm like unique. It's just because I saw a little bit more. But based on that, I moved from my hometown to
Yeah.
a big country, to a big city. I met different people, I met different cultures, and even the fact that when I just first came to Australia, I was so scared to speak in English. For me, it was really hard to like approach a stranger
Yeah.
and ask him how to get to Sydney Opera House. But meeting different people along the way, you kinda getting out of this comfort zone, and you start doing this anyway because you live in this English-speaking country.
Yeah.
You have no other choice
And your
rather
English
than
is
to
so
do
good,
it.
Amy.
Yeah. Thank you, girl. And yes, what I want to say is that leaving your home country, it takes a lot of courage, and you have to be really, really
Yeah, definitely.
brave to do this. Even though it's easy to buy tickets and just like get on a plane
Yeah.
and leave. But something that you feel inside, the feeling of braveness, that you actually live in your hometown just by yourself.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean, especially because when you're in your hometown, you're never a tourist in your hometown. You're always working, studying, or whatever. You always have your daily routine lifestyle, and it's nothing bad about. Absolutely agree with you. But when you're traveling, when you go abroad, you have so much more space in your mind to think about things differently than you thought about before. You learn to think different, to see what really makes you happy, because when you're on travels or when you're abroad, in the first place, you're completely free. You can choose where you want to live, what you want to study, which friends you want to make. You're completely free. And this freedom gives you the opportunity to grow up in a way you cannot grow up when you're just at home. This is a fact. And it's like people at home, they hate those people. They were abroad and then they come back and like, oh, I'm such a new person and stuff like this. People make jokes about these people, but I think actually it's mostly that they're jealous. That they are jealous because to being abroad, meeting so many people, it definitely will change your views to some topics. And like I said, I met so many great people on travels, and everyone had an impact to me in a different way. This is something I really appreciate about it as well. So I can totally understand you, and it's nothing bad to always stay in the hometown. But you know what I thought about when I booked all my flights? I was like, there's always a flight back home. Every day is a flight back home. So if you don't like it, go home. You didn't sign anything to stay there a year, or you didn't sign anything. So if you don't like it, go home. But you will never know if you like it when you never try it. And I always say it's better an oops than a what if. Because if you don't do it, you will grow up and you will always ask yourself, who would I be if I would have gone there? If I would have gone there to this place? If I would have traveled this place?
Yeah.
And maybe I missed a chance to meet my long life partner, the love of my life. Maybe I missed a chance to meet my best friends.
To get that job.
Yeah, to get that job. And it's like, I'm considering about moving permanently to Australia and building my life here, to raise my children here. And I think if I would never gone to this place, I would probably never consider it. Yeah. I was like, when I left Germany, I was like convinced, okay, I'll go to Australia 6 months, having fun, coming back home. You know, I didn't really expect to find such a big feeling of home here, and now I found it, and now my whole way of thinking changed, because now I'm considering moving permanently here. I'm considering which place here is the best for me. I know these questions, I never expected that I will ask these questions myself, and I'm glad that I'm able to ask all these questions to myself. And I'm actually feeling really sorry, because of course it's a question of your financial stability, if you can do this or not. Flights, they cost money, of course. But even if you don't have a lot of money, the work and holiday visa, it's not expensive. It's $400. The flights, yeah, they cost maybe $800.
Work and holiday visa, it's not for every country.
Yeah, I know.
So it's
I know.
only for Europe.
Yeah, I know. But it's like, you know, it's not that expensive, and you can come here, you can work here. Because so many people, they say, nah, it's too expensive for me. Why? You pay also rent at home, you also have to buy your food at home. Do it in Australia. And if you don't like it, go home again.
No, I feel like it's not only about Australia, of course.
Yeah.
Most of us have moved to Australia, but
It's in general.
this
Going away.
it applies to everyone, to every country, to every culture. Even like if you live in a small town, in a village, you can just easily move to a bigger city in your in your country. So yeah, it does not apply only to Australia.
Yeah.
Any cities, any countries, like to anything. You just have to do what you feel the right thing to do for yourself.
Yeah.
Even though it takes courage to get out of your comfort zone, you still have to do it.
Yeah, you have to do it. And like the lesson I definitely learn on travels, for example, is sometimes when I was at home, you know, I was stuck in this situation. I was living there, so I kind of had to get along with these people there, you know? So I always try to show just the best parts of myself, the best parts of my personality, that people like me, you know? And trying so hard just to show these best parts, sometimes it failed completely and people hated me, you know? Because I was like forcing myself too much. And here in Australia, I learned that I don't have to show just my best parts. Show all the parts you're not proud of it. And the people, they will stay. These are the friends, not the people, they will go. And this is something what moving abroad, and this has nothing directly to do with Australia, but moving abroad learned me to show my vulnerable sides, the sides I'm not proud of. And I have people there like, I don't care about if you don't like this side of yourself. It's a part of you and I like you and it's fine. And it's amazing that you trust me and tell me these things, you know? And exactly these situations, the situation being vulnerable, showing all your sides, these situations, they made me change and they gave me the feeling of home.
And reflecting on my own thoughts right now, I'm like, I might have thought about it, but for some reason now, I have just realized that it is just really so important. First thing first, just to find this strength within yourself.
Yeah.
And just trust the process. Just find the way and just do. You just gotta do what you wanna do, like really. You don't have to care about what anyone think about you. You just gotta do it, girl.
And if someone doesn't like you,
cares?
Who cares? Yeah, you will find people, they will like you with all bad and good sides about you.
Yeah. I remember I was just once talking with my friends about like this feeling of home, this feeling of belonging, and he said something like, Paulina, look, this is your heart. It's whole, it's pulsing, and it has two halves. One is in Russia, Vladivostok, and the other is here in Australia. But together, two halves are one whole.
Yeah.
And this is you. And it hit me so hard. I'm like, wow, this is exactly what I feel. So it might be that our heart, it has so many things in it. You don't have to think of home is just like something like one place or one person. It can be anything, it can be many things, but the most important part is just how you feel
Yeah.
in this place or with these people.
Yeah.
So, and by the end of the day, home for me is the feeling of love,
Yeah.
safety, and I think it's just exactly what you said. It's where you can feel vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's where
Exactly.
where you can show all your weaknesses
Yeah.
and not to be afraid that you can be judged.
Yeah. I think that's actually a good conclusion about it because, like your friend said, one half of your heart is still in Russia and the other half is here. And I think home is also you. You know what I mean? Because you are just you as the person. You are the mixture of both cities. You know, you had your experiences in Russia. You love this place. You also had your experiences here in Sydney, and you as a person with all your values and all your weak parts and stuff like this. You as a person, you are the combination that gives yourself home.
Yeah.
You know, you are 20, and to be so aware of all these parts in your life, this is such an impressive talent you have, because so many people in 20s, they think about partying and stuff like this, and you ask yourself these big questions, and I think this is really impressive. You know, this is like for me an inspiration too, and that lets me growing up even more here in Australia, because you meet people, you ask the same questions over and over again. Where are you from? What are you doing for work? Where have you traveled? You know? But then you meet these people and they ask you a question like, what is home for you? You know? And these questions and the answers, especially the answers, these are the ones I will remember when I'm 80 years old, and when I'm like talking to my grandchildren and will say, hey, your granny, I traveled Australia and I had this amazing conversation there with this girl about home. And you know, these are the things I will tell my grandchildren. And people like you, these are the people, they make me so grateful about my whole travels, about my whole decision. When I left home, I wasn't sure if this is the completely right decision to go and to leave my home. But because of people like you, I know now that this was definitely a right decision for me. This is so, it touches me.
Yeah, girl, I have goosebumps. Thank you so much. It's really good to hear, and I feel really, really grateful that I had a chance to meet you.
Oh,
Yes,
darling.
that's two girls, one from Russia and others from Germany. They met in a beautiful surf camp in Australia. So I just have one more question. What advice would you give to those who feel like they're homeless? They don't know where they belong.
Like I said, when I left home, I lost so many things in my life, like my job, my relationship, my grammar. So many things, they were so important to me, and I felt homeless even if I had a permanent address. And in this moment, I was like, oh my god, what should I do? What should I do? And one of my best friends, he's from London, and he was like, come to London. We'll have a great time. And I was not sure, because I didn't feel actually that good at this point in my life. And I was like, I'm not sure if going to London is the right thing. Flying alone, I don't know. Maybe if it's too big for me. And actually, I don't know how it should help me. And then I flew to London, and I was so happy there. I just met amazing people. I had such a great time there. I'm still grateful for this time, extremely. And actually, this person I visited there, my best friend from London, I met him in Canada. So he was also, everything also started on travels. And the fact that I'm now sitting in his living room with his family, and the last time I saw him in Montreal in Canada, this fact was like, whoa, you are happy? I was for a long time actually not really happy. And at this point I was like so happy, like I felt never ever before. And then I was like, why did it take me so long to come here? Why? There's every day a flight to London, every day. Why did I wait such a long time to do it? And this was like the point when I realized, okay, go to new places. So I went to Vienna, And in Vienna, I had an amazing time with amazing people. And it continued the whole time over and over again, that I made new friends, that I had new experiences. And I think actually, when a person is feeling homeless, remember yourself that you're the creator of your life, that no one else will ever create your home, create your life. You are the director, you are the creator of your life, and you have to be active. You cannot sit in your room and expect that a wonder or something will come, because this is not life. Life is sometimes hard, life is sometimes shit. But what you can do is realize that you're the only person who can make the decision where you want to live, how you want to live, who you are, and stuff like this. And if someone is feeling homeless, one word, it can has different meanings, but change something. You need a change, whatever. Focus on people that are good for you. Focus on things you always wanted to do. And I know so many people from home, they're like, oh my god, girl, you're living the dream. Why I still live in Germany? Why am I not doing this, what you've done? And I say to these people, you can do it. You just have to do it.
Yes.
And it's like, you can always dream about things, but the most of our dreams, they're actually not that unrealistic. If you dream to go diving at the Great Barrier Reef, book yourself a flight. If you're dreaming to do a safari in South Africa, book yourself a flight. And maybe you have to work a little bit before to earn the money to make it possible. But everything in life is possible. And if you're feeling homeless, then change something. And don't be too afraid to disappoint people. Like, when I realized, okay, I'm feeling homeless, I have the feeling I'm not feeling great in this place, and even my friends, even my family, they currently can't really help me with that. I knew I have to change something. And going to Australia was always my dream, but I always thought, now I started uni, then I started a PhD, I'm renting a flat, I cannot do it. But why? My boss, I actually was afraid a bit that I disappoint my boss when I say I have to take a break from the PhD. But he was absolutely not disappointed, he was proud. He said, I see that currently you go through hard times, especially because of my grandma's death. And if you have the feeling this will give you the strength to come back stronger, then do it. I'm proud of you. We are always so afraid to disappoint people. This anxiety is just in our head. Mostly, we never disappoint people. And if you disappoint a person because you are following your dreams, then you maybe should think about if this person is a person which is worth to be in your life. So the advice I would give is change something. Sometimes it's going to a new place. It must not be Australia, which is 24 hours away. It can be just the next city or a next village in your own country. Go to a new place, even if it's just for holidays. Even if you just say, I go away for 2 weeks. Go somewhere, change something, find a space for yourself. Because when you're stuck in your routines, you work every day, you don't have the ability to think about what is home for me. Because, I have to wake up at 6, then I have to go to work, then I come home, go to the gym, sleep, eat, repeat. And find a place where you have the space in your mind to reflect things, to find out what's home for you. And realize, oh my god, for example, I miss this place, especially it's just a place, but I miss it so much. Then go back. If you have the feeling I just miss the people, then go back, see the people, but don't get stuck in this place again. Because you are the creator. No one ever will do something for you, and don't expect that a wonder will happen. That's not life. Life is sometimes brutal. So go to new places, make space in your mind, and change something. And if you will do these things, you will definitely find a version of yourself where you feel happy. And I think actually this is my advice.
Thank you. This is just such a beautiful conclusion, and I love everything that you just said. And especially the thing that you mentioned about when you started feeling that you're homeless, you started asking yourself questions.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what happened with me. When I found myself in a situation that I don't know where is my home anymore, I feel homeless, I started investigating, I started observing, I started analyzing, I started asking myself questions.
Yeah.
And this is the question that popped up in my head. Like, what is home to me? What is the meaning of home to me? Where is my home now? And asking yourself those questions helps a lot just to get to know yourself. So I think my advice would be just talk to yourself and try to get to know yourself.
Yeah.
And I also have like a little note here. And the advice is, if you feel like you don't belong anywhere right now, remember this feeling won't last forever. Sometimes it takes a while to find your place, and it might be harder for some of us than others. No matter what, you always have value, you are important, and you deserve to be here.
Yeah, this is so beautiful, and it touched me. I absolutely agree with that. And like you said, some people, they have different conditions. Some families are more wealthy than others. Some people, they had bad childhoods, some not. Different conditions, but everyone deserves a home. Everyone.
Yeah.
And everyone is able to find it. And I think when you realize that you have the ability to find your home, even if you're currently homeless, but you have the ability to find it, when you realize this fact, this can give you so much power, and with this power you can move mountains.
Yeah, with this power you can do like
Everything.
anything. You can be wherever you want to be, and you can do wherever you want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just have to find this power within yourself. Thank you so much, Mo. It was just such powerful, I think, very deep talk.
Yeah.
Very, very deep.
I'm so glad that we had this conversation, and I'm so glad that I'm a part of your podcast project.
Yeah.
Because you also met a lot of people, and
Yes.
it makes me really happy that I'm the chosen one.
Thank you so much. Give me a
Yeah.
hug. Give me a hug. Thank you, love.